In 31st sloka, Bhagavan tells Arjuna, O foremost among Kurus, only those who taste the nectar of sacrificial remnants obtain the ever-existing eternal essence. The non-performer of sacrifice does not have joy in this world. How will he get joy in other worlds? So here he talks about whatever is made, especially food made for Bhagavan, after it is offered to Bhagavan, it is prasada for us. So when we take the prasada, what do we gain? So the significance of prasada, and this is activity through which we do the sacrifice. So this is secret of sacrifice. So here we find after we offer food to God, the remnants, that is what prasada. When we take that prasada, it purifies our body and mind, and it gives us spiritual advancement. Same way when we offer clothes to Bhagavan. So offering objects or doing any activities. So this kind of offering is sacrifice. Uddhava asks Krishna, whatever you eat, whatever you wear, let me have the one which was offered to you. It can be food or it can be something to wear. So what you wore, you give it to me, and what you ate, the remaining food, you give it to me. I will use only that. Only that will help me to conquer Maya. This was the prayer by Uddhava to Krishna. So yes, we also feel the same, because when you take prasadam in the temples, we get some sort of transformation. There is some sort of rejuvenation in our mind, and we wait for it. We believe that was eaten by God and the leftover is given. So we should be fortunate to get that prasada in temples. So this is a kind of sacrifice. So when we have that prasada, it helps us not to get entangled in Maya. So this is one kind of sacrifice done by Karma Yogi. What do they sacrifice here? Whatever is made for, prepared for food, God, we should have control over our senses. We should not even smell it. First, God should have it. That's what happens in temples and in our houses also. Whatever we make, it need not be very rich food. It can be very simple food. To our capacity, whatever we make, we offer it to God. God likes to have it. He loves to have it, because we are offering it with devotion. So after he has it, after he tastes it, only we take. So that is what it is, a kind of sacrifice. So we should have belief that God comes to our house and eat. So whatever he leaves, the rest of the food is taken as prasadam by us. Here is one incident happened in a Divya Desham, Tirukkannapuram, and they used, even today they make that they make prasadam every night. That is called Muniyodara Pongal. There was once a chieftain of Tirukkannapuram who used to make food every night. He used to make pongal every night for the Lord and he offer it to him. But what happens, he was a very staunch devotee of Lord Vishnu, and he used to engage himself in doing lot of services to God. So at one point of time he could not pay his tax to the king, so he was arrested. And this chieftain who was in prison, he became very restless because that was the time, that night God will be looking for food. He was talking to himself, oh, God will be looking for food. I have not prepared. Then he will remain hungry. So he was feeling so bad and he was literally crying that I am leaving God with the empty stomach. So when he was praying for that, his wife was also very restless and she thought, okay, I will do something. So she prepared the food and she kept it ready. God appeared in the dream of king and Bhagavan said, you release him, he is my devotee, you release him. Then immediately the king released. Then the chieftain Muniyodharan, he came running to his house because he had to prepare food. That was night actually. And the wife said, yes, I prepared. Then she took it. He took the prasad food to the temple, but the temple was closed. So he cried, my Bhagavan is in empty stomach. He is feeling hungry. I have not offered anything. So what did he do? He stood outside and he offered the food to him because he believed that God will take it. So the place, he didn't mind that place. So he stood outside, kept the food, offered the food to God. The next day, the priest of the temple entered the Garbhagriha and found there are some leftovers. The food grains, the cooked rice was on his face, Bhagavan's face. So he understood what happened, how come he got all this on his face. Then he found out that he brought the food and offered to Bhagavan. So Bhagavan had it, the food. Bhagavan ate the food he brought. Then he was informed about it and he felt so happy. So this is what Bhagavan does. So even today they make that pongal every night. After the chieftain's period, even now the temple has the custom of preparing pongal and offering to God. So that pongal is named after him, Muniyodharana Pongal. So Bhagavan accepts, Bhagavan waits for his devotee. Whatever we make, it need not be so grand. Whatever we make in a simple form, he accepts. And he is so happy to accept it, and he takes it with so much of happiness from the devotee. Then there is one more, Mukkur Lakshmi Narasimhachari, he wrote in his book. Once a Lambadi community, the person belonged to the tribal community. He was a very old man. He wanted to visit Mattapalli. That's a place where Sri Narasimha Swami temple is there. So he wanted to visit there and he prepared everything and he left his house. It was almost evening. And he took fruits and he took vegetables and he took yam and what all he could, what all he prepared in his land. So he packed everything and went to the temple, Mattapalli. But by the time he reached the temple, it was night. So the temple authorities, they closed the temple and they went off. They asked him to wait till the next day the temple was to be open. And this man was very much disappointed. He could not see the God. Having come all the way, I could not see the God. And he's very old also, very old, very poor man. And he was there. He stayed in front of the temple. Then what happened, after some time, the chief priest of the temple came and he asked him, Okay, come on. What do you want? He said, I want to have a darshan. So he took that man with him and he hugged him the way he showed the compassion towards that old man. He hugged him and took all the materials he brought and he took him inside the Garbhagriha. He made him stand there and he offered what all he brought with him, and the old man had very good darshan and he was very happy, and he was brought outside and the temple was closed. So that night went off like that. Then the next morning the priest came to the temple and he found this man was still there. Then he asked him, why are you here? I told you yesterday to go away, that it will take a longer time, and why are you just in front of the temple? This is not a place to sleep. Then this man, he didn't say anything. Then he went to the river Krishna to take bath. And the priest went inside the Garbhagriha and he saw the deity with full of flowers and fruits, vegetable, yam and all kinds of things he brought. The old man from his place brought. And he didn't know how to react, but he found out. So something had happened. So this man had the darshan of God. God came and he would have brought him inside. So he realized that. Then immediately he came out and looked for the old man. And the old man was taking bath in the river. And after he came, he took him inside and he said, you are very fortunate. You had the darshan of God. Because this priest saw the figure of this old man inside the Garbhagriha. Only that made him realize that, oh, he was the one blessed by God. God came here to give him darshan. So he realized his mistake and he appreciated him. He conveyed this to him, that God came all the way. God was with you yesterday. He was the one. I didn't take you inside. He was the one who came in my form and he took you inside and he explained everything. So the poor man was so happy. So this is what happens to your true bhakta. See, God never sees whether you are rich or whether you are poor or you are from this community or that community. No. God only looks for devotion, that to true devotion. So this is what we see. So here in this sloka, Bhagavan says this, how some karma yogis follow the breathing, some karma yogis do fasting, and some karma yogis offer food and eat that prasadam. So these are the different ways to attain moksha. So this was explained by Bhagavan to Arjuna. But all these things can happen only with true bhakti. So this is the glory of devotion. We should be true to Bhagavan. So the true devotion is accepted by God. So let's make it. Because we see some rich people offering silk cloths and all costly things to God, but they do only for, some of them, they do only for publicity. Even in the temples we find tubulets or written with the names of the person, the donor. So half of the tubelet is occupied by that paint. So that is not a true bhakti. Even if you take like Sudama, how you took only the stuffed rice, puffed rice. So even it can be very simple, it can be very cheap, but you are taking it with true devotion. God accepts that. This is the reward of true devotion. So there was a Pasuram, Edai Edalan. So that Pasuram sung by Tirumangai. In that Pasuram, Bhagavan does not see any discrimination. Whether you are Edai, Edalan, so the Pasuram goes like that. So in that Pasuram it says, whether you are poor or rich, but God doesn't see all that. God sees only your bhakti. So whoever pays the true bhakti, true devotion, God accepts that. And He comes to that devotee. He comes and He appears in some form and gives darshan to that devotee.